the focus is community banks.
Right.
Washington is even saying, the Obama administration is saying, we need to be looking at community banks. That makes your timing look genius.
Right. That's absolutely right. And all the statistics are showing that people are moving away from the larger banks and looking at the community banks for support. And that was, again, one of the things that we looked at as an opportune time. My feeling has never changed as far as what small business owners need to do. I can't tell you over the years how many times I've had a small business owner come in and they want a loan. I said, well, how much do you need? I said, well, how much can I get? That's the wrong answer. Yeah. You have to have a plan. You have to know what you want the money for. You have to know how are you going to pay it back. And if banks stuck to that philosophy all the time, we wouldn't necessarily be in the mess we're in right now. The first advice I would give them is have a plan. Know where you want to go, know how you're going to get there, and how you're going to get back. And plan on there's going to be some bumps along the road. And if you don't plan for that, the first little hiccup you run into, you're in trouble. Things can go wrong all the time. So the business owner really needs to have a backup plan. And so when we look at credit, we have a primary source of repayment, and that's generally operations. So you've got a business, if you're going to sell widgets, I'm going to get repaid from you selling the widgets and collecting on your receivables or whatever. Something goes wrong. Your widget supplier can't supply it anymore, or your market just totally collapses, or a new competitor comes in. Whatever, you can't sell widgets. What's your backup? How are you going to pay me now that you can't sell widgets?
That's right.
And so hopefully you have a secondary plan there. You say, oh, well, I've got this capital and that can carry me for a while, or I've got an uncle that's going to give me money to help me do this, or whatever it is, have that second. And we'll actually look for three. So we try to find three sources of repayment so that we feel very comfortable that you're going to get paid.
But what worries you about what you're seeing in Washington?
I always get nervous when the government tries to fix a problem because generally they overreact to the problem, they overfix it, and while they're trying to help the general public, they actually create more issues and more problems. The new regulation, the Reg E changes that are coming out for consumers to protect consumers from overdraft fees on debit transactions.
Yeah.
The intent is to help the consumer. But in fact, what's going to happen, like in our case, we looked at what the requirements for the regulation was, and we said, well, it's going to be too hard to do that, so we're just not even going to get into the program. We'll just automatically say, no, we will not overdraw your account. Wow. So we're not even going to give you the option.
Wow.
Well, is that helping the consumer? Because now you've taken an option away from the consumer because it's too costly for me to try to provide that service for you.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to say, no, we're not even going to offer the service. And, you know, a few years back when there was talk about legislating the fees to use an ATM card, use an ATM machine.
Mm-hmm.
Again, all of that is very expensive equipment. The technology is expensive. Mm-hmm. The hardware is expensive. The connectivity, all of that is expensive, and you want it for free. And I said, we have to pay for it somehow.
Yeah.
And so fortunately that legislation didn't come to pass, but I know it's still, there's discussions out there. So I always get concerned when Washington says they're going to fix a problem.
People love a great success story. Are you guys the Phoenix? Did you rise? Do you feel like you?
We feel like we're going to knock the cover off the ball right here in Santa Barbara. And there's a lot of factors that are contributing to that. But you know, one of the things I've picked up on saying is that our vision is to be the Bank of Santa Barbara. And we really emphasize that. We want to be in Santa Barbara, and we want people to look at us as the Bank of Santa Barbara. And we do feel that we're going to be tremendously successful.